Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Later in the show, we'll learn about Project Enable, translating biology terms from English to Diné Bizaad with Sterling Martin. And we'll chat with Hope Peshlakai, owner of Hope's Frybread, located in Mesa. But right now, host Lanasha Pawadi talks with Janine Estrada and Katelynn Parks of the Home Builders Institute.
I'm host Lanasha Pawadi. In the studio with me is Janine Estrada and Katelynn Parks of Home Builders Institute, providing its students with skills and experience they need for careers in residential construction. Hello, Janine and Katelynn. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Hi. Thank you for having us. As you said, my name is Janine Estrada. I am a recruiter and outreach coordinator for the Home Building Academy, and I'm excited to do this interview, and I'm excited about this program.
Oh, that's awesome. It's good. It's great to have you today. And Katelynn?
Yes, thank you for having us. My name is Katelynn, and I'm a regional career development coordinator with the Home Building Academy, and excited to talk with you today and share what our program offers.
And can you guys tell us more about what Home Building Institute is and how and when it got started?
Definitely. So the Home Building Academy, that's one that was starting here in the spring, is a paid skilled training program, and it's open to anyone that's 18 years or older who's interested in learning more about the building industry, particularly residential construction and the building trades. We also do job placement afterwards. I'll get a little bit more into HBI, our parent company, in the following questions. Yeah, but it's really exciting what we're doing. We want to provide people with marketable skills in the industry.
And where are you located in Arizona?
We will be on 3100 East Broadway Road, Suite 100, Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, cross streets. So we're going to be, the cross streets are Broadway Road and 32nd Street, and we're going to be south of the 10 in Sky Harbor.
Oh, and can you guys tell us about your various programs?
Sure. So with our academy that's starting here in the spring, we offer training at a pre-apprenticeship level in either carpentry or electrical for the 9 weeks. So it's hands-on, paid training. It's intensive. It runs from 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. And they're learning those marketable skills, as I said earlier, in the industry. So they'll be ready for the job placement or pursuing a career in the construction industry afterwards. Our certifications that we offer, we have nationally recognized and industry recognized certification with our PAC training, so our pre-apprenticeship certification training, also OSHA training. So the candidates that we have, that we produce, our graduates, are going to be safe and they're going to know what they're doing. They're going to start with those base skills that can be built upon.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. And how long are your programs? I know you mentioned 9 weeks. Are all of them around 9 weeks long?
So ours is a little bit unique. Some of our other programs run for a little longer. Some of them are 14 weeks, some 12 weeks. I think we do things in a different way here in the Valley. We have a culture that's very fast-paced, and we want to get started. We've got a lot of go-getters here, a lot of entrepreneurship in the Valley in general. So ours is condensed 9 weeks, and it runs the whole way through.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And I know you mentioned certificates. What kind of certifications are available?
So with the Home Building Academy, we start off with our PACT curriculum. So that is essentially our parent company, HBI. We're powered by HBI. They put forth this curriculum. They're introducing it into various different spheres and different platforms in schools, secondary schools, and such. And that's what we offer our students for the 9-week program. It's that hands-on training that is recognized by the industry. They know what they're getting when we have graduates from our program, and it's what works. It's been proven to be 88% effective after students go through our programs.
And you mentioned how you assist your graduate with finding employment. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be a great one for Katelynn to take, since she's our RCDC too.
Yes, so in my role as a regional career development coordinator, otherwise called an RCDC, each student is assigned to an RCDC. So they'll work with us individually, but then also through employability lessons to help them find that ideal job for them after the program. So starting at about week 4, they will be applying for jobs, and they'll check in with us, see where their progress is. If they need more one-on-one assistance in helping those completing those job applications, we will assist them with that too.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And these programs sound like a really good resource for the community. Can you let us know who is eligible to partake in these programs?
Yes, these are really open programs. So it's, like I said, it's open to anyone who wants to learn about the industry that's 18 years or older. If you could see yourself with a career in the construction industry, and there's lots of varied opportunity, so it's not one size fits all, and you want to learn, you are eager to have that life learning attitude, then you're welcome in this program.
Oh, wow. And I'm pretty sure you worked with many different students that have come through, completed your program, found employment. Can you share any favorite success stories? Yeah,
I love the success question. So I fall back on statistics, and I know that's a bad thing, but we haven't started yet. So we're getting started in the spring. We're going to get started, I believe it was beginning of April. That's when we're opening our doors. So we're going to have those success stories 9 weeks out, and I am happy to come back in here and tell you, oh my gosh, this is what's happening. Look at our graduates. This is what they're doing. These are the career paths that they're taking. But as far as what works with HBI, our parent company, they've got an 88% success rate. So they know what they're doing. That means 88% of the people that go through these programs are students pursuing apprenticeships in the industry or deciding that they actually see a career path in the industry, whether it be on the admin side, picking up artisanship and carpentry, electrical. All of these are viable, sustainable ways to make a living and sustainable ways to thrive as well.
So individuals that are interested in these programs, do they have to have prior experience in construction?
No, not at all. This is a great opportunity to introduce yourself to the construction industry. And that's what it's really all about for us. We want to provide that introduction because we don't actually do the apprenticeships. We don't actually do the hiring. What we do is we provide you with marketable skills and we provide the introduction to the industry. So this could be someone who is 18 years old, just wants to enter in the industry and to get their career started. They don't want to take on debt. Student loans. They're saying there's another way to be successful. Everyone's been hearing about college. I'm like, there's a place for that. That's wonderful. But don't be my sad tale of woe and take on college debt. I think there's another way to do it in a better way. And also it's a great place for people to make a pivot because we're working with all sorts of members of the community, the justice involved. We work with transitioning military, veterans, women that are coming from working at home, working as a mom at home. We work with all sorts of people and youth as well. So they can get started, they can make a pivot in careers and decide to pursue the construction industry, or they can, have a fresh start.
Oh, wow. And is there anything else you wanted to share with our listeners about this program?
Yes, so we want to just share a little bit about the program itself if you're interested. It's 9 weeks of paid hands-on construction training. It's paid, so you're getting paid to learn about the industry. You get to choose between our pathways of carpentry or electrical. It's training at a pre-apprenticeship level, but it's hands-on training, so it really resonates with you. And you get to take those skills away with you when you're on the job market if that's what you want to pursue when you're ready. Each of our students are assigned, like Katelynn said, with a regional career development coordinator. So that RCDC helps them chart out a successful career path in the industry. It's not just about getting a job. Jobs are all over the place, and people don't want to take them. We want to introduce this as a career so they can actually see that you can step up from this. You just have to want to learn and keep progressing in your career. And there's so many different ways to pursue it. And that's what part of what Katelynn does in our other RCDCs is helping them find that pathway because everyone has a different story and everyone has a different road to walk down for success.
Oh, yes, definitely. Go ahead.
I apologize. The one thing I forgot to mention earlier, too, is we will actually be following each student for up to a year after completion of the program to make sure that career transition is going well, and seeing if they need any more assistance of, locating additional opportunities, whether that be enrolling into an apprenticeship program too.
All right, so the Home Building Academy we offer our students 9 weeks of paid hands-on construction training, particularly in residential construction. We focus on developing career readiness skills those soft skills that you need for long-term success in the industry and job placement as well. Our students get 2 pathways, so they can pursue carpentry or electrical, the training at a pre-apprenticeship level. Our students earn nationally recognized certification with our PAC training, so our pre-apprenticeship certification training and OSHA training. We do job placement, and this process starts after week 3. Our instructors are industry professionals. Just with our carpentry team alone, we've got over 70 years of experience to choose from in different fields in carpentry. So that's a wealth of knowledge there. Our electrical team is amazing, and we also follow our students for a year after the program to ensure that long-term success.
And the one thing that we just want to make sure we get out there is we encourage everyone, especially women, to apply to our program, because as women, we make up 50% of the population, but yet only about 9.9% of the construction industry. And we're all aware of the pay gap differences between women and men. And in the construction industry, that virtually disappears in the trades. So we want to be that change, and we want to encourage you to get out and enroll in our academy as well.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. You guys really do have a great program, and it is a really good resource for the community. And like you mentioned, it is 9 weeks, and it is a paid internship. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to give that a try, even if they're not even into construction? Like, just try it and see if you like it. Janine and Katelynn, can you guys let us know how can our listeners learn more about the Home Builders Institute, and how can they contact, or who can they contact for more information?
Definitely. So there's several ways to get in touch with one of the staff members to learn more about the program. I'm one of the recruiters, so if you're calling or texting, you're going to talk to either myself or Veronica, and we are very, very responsive. You can go to our website. We have QR codes, as well as you can reach us through email, call, text. We've got flyers, and I'm looking to get them all over the valley, so hopefully you see one somewhere. And we are also posting on social media on sites like yours.
Perfect. Well, I'd like to thank you both, Janine and Katelynn, for taking time out to talk to us today, to tell us more about this great opportunities that you guys have to offer with Home Builders Institute.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Coming up, we'll learn about Project Enable with Sterling Martin. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to Breath of Water by Big City Indians.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. And I'm Susan Levy. On the phone with me today is Sterling Martin, postdoctoral research associate at Washington University in St. Louis and co-founder of Project Enable, which stands for Enriching Navajo as a Biology Language for Education, translating biology terms from English to Diné Bizaad. Hello, Sterling. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Hi. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I hope I spoke correctly and introduced you correctly. But before we get started, please tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and your Indigenous heritage.
Okay. So my name is Sterling Martin. I grew up on the Navajo Nation in a town called Frybread, New Mexico, and this is near the Four Corners. So this is where the four states, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado meet. So I grew up there all my life, graduated high school, and then went to the University of Iowa for undergrad and in biochemistry, and then went on to get a PhD in biophysics from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And now I'm a postdoc here at WashU.
Wow. Okay. How'd you end up in the Midwest?
So during high school, I was looking for colleges, and I think one of the things I liked about the Midwest, especially where Iowa was just change in weather. So I really like snow growing up near like the Four Corners region. So I kind of wanted a change of scenery a little bit. So that's how I ended up going there. Plus they had a really good biology program and a program called the Iowa Bioscience Advantage at the time, which like really helped pair people who had an interest in science with a research mentor. So you can get some experience in the lab and kind of get a feel for what a scientist does.
Wow, that's a big change in scenery. You're going from Shiprock to Iowa. Okay. So tell me a little bit, what is Project Enable?
Oh, yeah. So Enable is basically taking modern day biology terms and translating them into the Navajo language. That way people back home can understand science in their own language.
So how'd you come up with this idea? It sounds like an amazing idea and very important and critical.
Yeah, so I think this was something that started during my time at Iowa. Was there were things I was learning in the class and things that I was learning at the bench in the lab. And when my family and everybody would ask me, oh, what are you doing? Trying to explain these science words to them in English, I could see that there was kind of a disconnect going on, especially since everybody back home spoke Navajo as their first language. So that's kind of when I started noticing this issue. And as I continued on through my education, it just seemed to have gotten worse. And then I think it was probably when COVID hit that we started realizing, oh, there are no terms for some of these, words that are out there. And there was some struggle going on. And that was initially a problem in the beginning, especially when the Navajo government was trying to get a handle, on the spread of the virus. So I guess this is where Joanna Bundis, the other co-founder, comes in, because we were in a lab together at the same time. And she was all for this because she really thought the Navajo language was beautiful and amazing. So she totally got behind this idea. And she knew Susie Batimar from her graduate school days. And I guess Joanna's the one who brought us all together to sit down and be like, hey, how can we realistically get this off the ground?
That sounds amazing and important. So during COVID, then were you able to, is that when, that sounds like that's when you started to translate the biology terms and really move forward with this project? Is that right?
Yeah, I think with COVID, with everybody working from home and staying at home, that really gave us some time to sit down and realistically plan out how this would go. And I think one of the first steps we did was being scientists, we found a science book and just went to the glossary and listed out all the science terms. And at the time we were thinking, oh, we could just translate all these words into Navajo. But then once we started thinking about it more realistically, it's wow, this science book had 1,000 words in it. That's not really going to be something easy to do in this first round. So yeah, I think COVID gave us the time to really think about our goals and how this would actually come to fruition.
So I think in one of my notes that I saw that so far you've done 250 words. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then how do you pick which ones you want to do? Are you just doing it alphabetically, or are you doing it in order of importance, or, whether it's COVID or something else like flu season, or how do you decide?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. That's something we talked about during that initial conversation we had, those 1,000 words. So what we really thought about was, we really want these words to be impactful to people back home on the Navajo Nation and, to educators who are teaching this to students. So we actually reached out to a few high school teachers at Shiprock High School and Wingate High School. And, they're using these words on a day-to-day basis. So we asked them, could you rank these words in like list of priority? And the number one, I guess the top picked words were the ones that we ended up going with.
That's a good idea of doing that, like actually boots on the ground and what people need. So do you see this kind of instituted in some of the hospitals up there or clinics? Are they starting to use some of this for the patients?
So, once we started getting this out there and like speaking to some family and friends, some of them do work at the hospitals and they really enjoy these words because it lets them have a way of communicating with their patients. So in a way, it does seem to be slowly being implemented in the hospitals.
I think that would be so important. I mean, if you've got a patient and you're able to communicate correctly with these terms, I would think that would be a huge help. I mean, how else would you describe, like, whether it's a procedure or a condition? I don't know. I think it just sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, and I think one of the beauties of this is a lot of elders back home, Navajo is their only language they speak, or they speak English, but it's not at this technical of a level, so they rely on translators to do this. However, information can be lost through translation, so at least being able to speak to people in their own language and explain these things really helps with autonomy for them to make their own decisions rather than relying on information that might have gotten lost.
I think it's a great idea. I think what you guys have done is amazing. So my other question is, so can you just give me a couple like examples of things that you've translated?
Oh, okay.
Like just, I don't know, pick a popular one that you've done.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I think one of my personal favorites is, and it seems to be everybody's a favorite for a lot of people, is DNA. Well, this is actually an interesting conversation we had with Frank, who was doing the translations, was, do you just translate DNA into Navajo, or, DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. So then do you do that translation? And then if you just translate that word, does it even mean anything in Navajo? So Frank really looked at it and looked at the meaning of the word and then made the translation for it. So the translation turned out being Ina Bixol, which turns into strands of life. So, it brings this very picturesque image in your head of these two strands that encode for your life. So that, I think that was a really beautiful one.
I like that one. And I think that's obviously the essence of life, and building blocks is DNA. So that's cool. Okay. So how do you decide which terms need to be translated? You've done 250. Like, how do you know what 251 is, or 285? You just put your finger in a book on a glossary, or do you go, well, I think we should look at, I don't know, March is colon cancer month, or HIV. Do you pick a term, or how do you do it?
Yeah, so I think originally when we reached out to the high school teachers, we ended up getting, I think 200, I think it was like 215 or 210. But then once we started going through and once we started going through and making the example sentences and definitions, we started realizing some words have to come in pairs. Like if you think of a proton, well, you have to have an electron. So that's how we ended up building more, was just to make sure the words come in their set.
Okay. That's a good answer. All right. So question for you. What do you want Project Enable to do when it's finished, or is it just a living document and it's always going to be changing?
End of the day, I would love if we could translate all science terms into Navajo, and this is science is for everybody, but when you think about it, the technical language of science can be very limiting. So by being able to do this, you actually do make science completely understandable by everybody. So I'd love it if we could translate all words into it and maybe even have like a science textbook at the end of the day that can be taught used on the reservation back home.
That would be a great idea. Is that going to be your next project?
Slowly but surely, right? We had those 1,000 words, so we are building up to it.
So you're at what, 250 now, you said, right?
Yeah.
And then do you just do like one a week or when you have time, or how do you do that?
We are right now have the recordings of the enable words, so people can go to the website and play this audio button. We're currently in the process of uploading those right now, so that's our main focus. But afterwards, we'll definitely go back and see what's out there. And we've had some interest from some medical doctors come out and being like, hey, we'd like some of these words, like, translated to our field that we're also looking into at the moment.
Okay, I'm super impressed. All right, so a couple more questions. What do you hope Project Enable will do for the Diné youth?
I think and hope that seeing these words in people's own language, in the students' own language, can help them say I can combine my identity as a Navajo person and as a scientist and put them together and be a Navajo scientist. Because I think that was an issue I was having growing up. Was I felt like there's the Navajo me, that's my identity, but then there's also the scientist me, which has these Western teachings, and I always felt like they were completely separate. And I would say it probably wasn't until really Enable and we started going through the words and making everything that I started slowly feeling that these are one and the same. So I really do hope other students and even other people back home can feel the same way. And then there is a big aspect of identity. See, having these words spoken in your own language, you can identify with them. So then hopefully students can see yes, I can be a doctor, I can be a scientist, I can be an engineer.
I think that's a great answer, and I hope that it encourages youth to go ahead and go into science and STEM and medicine and everything else. So good for you for doing this. I think.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just think you've done something really important for youth. I think that's really important, an important message. So I wanted to know, and finally, how can our listeners learn more about Project Enable, and how can they contact you?
Yes. So if people are interested in learning more about Enable, you can go to our website, enablenavajo.org. And there, along with having the words and everything, we also have an About Us page that kind of talks about everybody who's involved, from Frank to Joanna to the Navajo language team who helped and make sure the translations were accurate. And then Ira Fick, who I feel like we don't give enough praise, but he's the mastermind behind the website to making sure that it works in all parts of the reservation. We also have some news articles on there, and then we do have a contact page. So if they'd like to reach out via Twitter or email, our information's on the website.
Cool. All right. Thank you. And thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. We really appreciate it. I learned a lot, and I'm going to go to the website and look at some of those definitions or translations.
Yeah. If you have any feedback, let us know. Or if there's something you see that we missed, go ahead and tell us, and we would be happy to look into it.
Up next, we'll chat with Hope Peshlakai, owner of Hope's Frybread, located in Mesa. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's family health advocates can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or via Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your health care coverage. For more information, call 602-279-5262. Native Talk Arizona returns after this song. You are listening to The Lake Inside the Flower by R. Carlos Nakai, William Eaton, and Will Klipman.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. And I'm Susan Levy. And in the studio today with us is Hope Peshlakai, owner of Hope's Frybread, located in Mesa, taking the love of Navajo Frybread and fusing in the best ways. Hi, Hope. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited you're here. I love your food.
Thank you so much.
So good.
We put a lot of love into our food, too, so hopefully it does translate.
I think it does. And I've followed you like on Instagram, on like from your dream to opening up the storefront and watching all of your videos and getting it going. So I'm impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a long journey and somewhat sometimes we just didn't know where it was going to land. And then all of a sudden, boom, we've got a brick and mortar. And so it's been so fun.
And it sounds like it's going really well.
Yeah, we've been blessed. We've been blessed with so much media coverage that kind of was just kind of given to us. And it's been an amazing and just unprecedented for our family, at least, thing that's just going on. I say thing, but I feel like it's more than just a thing. It's huge for us, for my little family.
I think it's awesome. All right, well, now I've got to back up a little bit. So let's do an introduction of yourself and your story. Sorry.
Of course, no worries. My name is Hope Peshlakai. My husband, Aaron, and I started Hope's Frybread. But just to kind of backtrack, we're born and raised on the Navajo Reservation in Ganado, Arizona, and moved down into the Valley of the Sun in 2006. And so from that moment, we started our family. My husband went to school at ASU, and just kind of being broke college kids, trying to find different ways to raise money. We started doing pop-ups. And actually, the first pop-up that we did was actually to help one of our neighbors in need that they fell in hard times, so they needed a little bit of bills, money, and so I didn't have anything to give them except I had a pantry full of ingredients, and I said, you know what, we can throw together some Frybread and I can sell it for you and I'll give you the proceeds. She was beyond belief, and it was exciting for me because I got to hone in on my Frybread skills, and then after that, we decided to do the sale. And then after that, once people find out that you make Frybread, there's kind of oh, wow, you know how to make this? When are you going to make when's the next sale? And so that's kind of how it started. And then lo and behold, we started doing catering and more pop-ups. And all of a sudden, 10 years later, we're opening our brick and mortar.
That's pretty cool. And that's a great story. And I mean, all the people that you've helped along the way and found your love and your passion.
Right. It's been a really fun journey. And yeah, we had several different fundraisers, throughout the years, and they've all been really great. And it's just been a whole building of honing in our recipes and just figuring out, oh wow, we do love Frybread, and we do love selling it, and we do love seeing the smiles that show up when, or even like the head nods of approval when when they get their plate of food and they take their first bite, and it's so fun. It's very rewarding.
That's cool. Now you guys have to look into like Airbnb experiences.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a whole other market, a whole other monster. I feel like there's been some requests because our menu is small. We kind of made sure that we wanted to keep it small, but we don't do breakfast. And so we've been getting lots of requests for breakfast burritos, and that again is a whole other monster. Being there early in the morning, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's in the back burner, but maybe we'll do that.
I know supposedly being in a restaurant is like the hardest profession, 7 days a week, nonstop, and all the back end stuff.
Thankfully I have my husband with me, so we've kind of been able to divide the shifts in that way, and he knows just as much as I do in the kitchen. He himself can make Frybread, and so we've got this incredible staff now, and it just kind of fell into place. And that's why I always say that we're blessed, because a lot of that just kind of, I don't know, like a domino effect, it just kind of happened. And so it's been so amazing. Just if the walls could talk in our restaurant, and you could see the journey of when we first before the drywall was even up. And, the conversations that my husband and I had of, wow, is this even going to work out? We mortgaged our home for this, kind of thing. And we have 6 kids between the two of us, and it's our livelihood. It's our whole world right now, and it's just like another child for us. And so it was a risk, and yeah, we're just really, really grateful that things have been working out and the risk is paying off.
Well, and you're passionate.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah. And that's obvious. I mean, that's what people say about you and your food. I mean, it's your passion, it's your drive, it's your love.
Right.
You and your husband, and you've done such an amazing job.
Thank you. Yeah, we love what we do. It's like, it doesn't really feel like work at this point. It just feels like, okay, let's just get it done. And we've got lots of folks that come, and they've said that it feels like they're eating at their aunt's house or their grandma's house, or just like one of their family members. And that's really what we wanted. We wanted it not to be just almost like a corporate thing that you're going to come into a chain restaurant. No, we wanted it to be like, it's kind of like that Olive Garden quote, like, when you're eating with us, you're eating with family. But it sounds cliche, but it's like, definitely, I feel like that's what we're trying to do.
That's awesome. So I think you mentioned to me before when I ran into you that it's grown a lot faster than you thought.
Absolutely. It's like, in fact, at first we this is part of me and being a res girl. I think I didn't anticipate and I didn't believe in myself enough. So I was blown away by our grand opening, for instance. I didn't expect it to be as grand as it was. We had a line out the door the entire day, and the line went kind of clear. It was probably like I don't even know, 50-foot long line all day. And at the end of the day, we actually ran out of food. And so again, it's just, I wasn't prepared for that. I guess none of us were at that point. And so it's been just unreal. It's very, very unreal.
Well, and I think that speaks to you and your husband and the love that you've got, but also what you do for the community. I mean, you're so community-minded. You're always giving back. So good for you. I'm glad it's going well.
Thanks. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's again, the risk was scary for a long time, but again, it is paying off. So it's been great.
Okay, so I have to ask you a question. And it's probably like asking you your favorite child. What's your favorite menu item?
Oh, hands down, it's the Navajo taco. It's so comforting. It's like comfort food. And I think the reason why that's my favorite is because the chili beans, for instance, that recipe is my grandma's recipe. And not to mention the Frybread is also her recipe. But my grandma was such a giving person, but she wasn't wealthy at all. She was, of course, reservation life. She didn't have a whole lot. She was one of the lucky Navajo women, though, that did have indoor plumbing and electricity in her home, which is, rare. But she was her love and language was feeding people, and so that's what she did. My mom was a single mom, and so she was working all the time, and so when she got home to take care of her 3 hungry kids, it was a lot for her to make up a meal because she worked all day, and then she also did college. But so my grandma was the one that kind of picked up that duty for our family. She made our family meals, and we lived like a mile away from her home, and it was just, you'd hear the phone ring in the evening time, and then she would say, "Come on up, food's done." And we'd all, rush up there, and it was just, going into her home, and it was warm. Oh, it was always warm, and there was always food. That's things that you can count on at my grandma's house. And so these recipes, or especially that Navajo taco, is my grandma shining through every single time I make that plate of food. And so that's hands down my favorite. But we do have some other scrumptious items on our menu. But the Navajo taco by far is my favorite.
Okay, so you also mentioned that people have been asking about breakfast, and what other things are you what do you hope to expand to or change or add?
Yeah, you know what? we kind of, my husband and I talked about it a lot, and there is a reason why, and we do get complaints sometimes about our menu being so small, but I mean, I feel like we like it small. I mean, you go to Cane's and all you have are chicken fingers and fries. That's all that they offer there. Or same with In-N-Out Burger. You know, you only get a few items, and I feel like it works for them. So that's what we're going to do. We only have 3 entrees, and it's going to be there all the time. It's the Navajo Taco, the Navajo Burger, and an Asian Persuasion sandwich, which is kind of our hidden gem. Work with me on this one. It is kind of confusing, but it's a sandwich, and it's on a fry bread. It's grilled chicken teriyaki, grilled pineapple slices, fresh cabbage, and sriracha, and it's all on a fry bread. And it's again, it's our hidden gem. It's really delicious. And then right now we have, because it's colder, we do have a special, and we rotate between 3 different stews. We have the mutton and nishiji, or the steamed corn, beef stew, and green chili pork pasoli. So we do change. In the summertime, I think we're trying to figure out, maybe want to do a brisket on a fry bread. We just kind of like to, we like to have fun with food, and we love fry bread, and so it's always fun to figure out, what tastes good on a fry bread. And yeah, so it's just kind of, it's fun. So we do have, different variations. But yeah, I don't know about the breakfast just yet. But as far as expanding, we really do want to have more than one location. We want to do just more Hope's Frybread throughout the valley, so that folks don't have to. We get folks, because we're located in Mesa, we get folks that come in from Avondale, they come in from Litchfield Park, they come in from North Phoenix, and so we want to be able to provide our food so that they don't have to go that far. And so we're trying to expand in different locations.
So Hope, do you have a favorite story since you've opened your restaurant? Anything you can think of stands out?
Favorite story? You know what? There's been so much. Okay, so backstory on me and my life. When my husband and I got married, he started school immediately at ASU. Go Sun Devils.
Yes, I was going to say go Sun Devils.
Yeah, so he started there, and I just became a stay-at-home mom. And again, backstory on myself, I never finished college. I don't know. Not that it's a bad thing, but college just wasn't for me. And I think in retrospect, if I had really thought of what I wanted to do, I probably would have gone into culinary arts, but I didn't do that either. I couldn't afford it. So anyway, my world consisted of being a stay-at-home mom. My whole orbit was just my kids, my husband, myself, my friends, and then my relatives. But this completely has changed my orbit in ways that I wouldn't even have thought of, maybe even 5, 10, 3 years ago. We've had folks come in from like New York because they see a crazy Facebook post on whatever on Hope's Frybread, and they want to come and check it out, or it's just insane. And the whole, TikTok world has been crazy too. The hashtag native TikTok is just a whole other world that I'm really interested in exploring. But from that, we've had different influencers that are native influencers, and they come in and they do meet and greets at our place. We've had even the right before the election, Jonathan Nez came and visited. That was really cool. Kiowa Gordon came in through our doors, and so he's on the Dark Winds. And who else? There's a whole bunch of people that I haven't really mentioned, but it's been really cool. Again, this stay-at-home mom who didn't get to meet anybody. I'm able to open my doors, and then, oh wow, we're getting in so-and-so today, or we're gonna get the actually I get to go on like different media spots too. And I've been on what is that, ABC 15 with Colton Schoen, and it's been really cool. And I don't know, it's definitely humbling, and it's just amazing to see I don't know, just the excitement that folks in the Valley are having, and not just in the Valley, but like through the nation, of having on a restaurant that features Frybread, which is, I mean, it's my love. But it is humbling, and it's just fun. It's a lot of fun.
You deserve it. You've worked hard, and all of it is good for you.
Yeah, thank you. We're happy.
And good karma, so it's all good. So finally, how can listeners learn more about Hope's Frybread, and how can they contact you?
Yeah, so Hope's Frybread, you could find it on, if you just Google it, there's lots of places that will direct you there. We do have a website, hopesfrybread.com. We are on TikTok again. We are on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to email any catering stuff, it's email is best, and it's hopesfrybread@gmail.com. So yeah, just those are the easiest ways, I think.
Awesome. All
or
right.
Just stop by
and come eat,
our
right?
shop. And yeah, we're at 144 South Mesa Drive, and we're the only restaurant right now in that whole strip mall right now. So there is construction, just so you know, because they're actually redoing and updating the entire facade of the building. So you'll come in and you'll see actually fencing around us, but don't worry, we're still open.
I know. We follow you on Instagram, Facebook, the whole thing.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming by to talk to us. I appreciate it. I have to come by and try the Asian fusion?
Asian persuasion.
Asian persuasion. All right. That'll be next on my to-do list. So thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and 90.7 FM KRDP. Our executive producer is Susan Levy. Sound engineer is Javier Quiroga, and our host is Lanasha Puadi. We hope you will tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please reach us at nativetalkaz@listen2krdp.com.